All right. All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Bison, aka Bison Trades, over on Twitter. Welcome back to another episode of RareFUD Radio. On today's episode, we got a lot to jump into. We definitely got to talk about what's going on with SMBs right now. Genuine articles from Gecko's offer. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about NEOP, dude. NEOP, NYOP. If you guys don't know, I didn't know. Honestly, I had no clue. I found out it was Iceberg and other folks I know. Their project absolutely rocketed, dude. This thing went up to like 16 SOL, a collection of about 2,000 of them. I need to know more about this project. So honestly, this is like opening up the floor to you guys because I want to learn more. Sounds like you can alter the pixels and stuff like that on the art. There's some sort of map that goes with it. It sounds cool. It sounds interesting. It sounds new, right? We'll get into that. We'll talk about Oogie revealing tomorrow. Iron Paw revealed. We'll talk about the floor price of Iron Paw. We'll talk about why I still think it might be a good buy. Not financial advice, though. Nothing on the show ever is. Talk about Wolf Cap surging. I cannot wait to see that at double digits minimum because J Shep's just the homie. If you guys missed that episode talking to J Shep a while back before Mint, it was a great one, man. J Shep just very educated on the space, very knowledgeable, very well spoken as well. So I love to see the homie winning. We'll talk about the Kaleno game. We'll talk about the Lily and Lotus airdrop. It does sound like they took the snapshot, so that should be within the week. Then we'll, of course, talk about the heist. Talk about the heist. And we got a mint date. It is public knowledge now. We are minting with Magic Eden. It is going to be on April 17th. I'm going to be talking a lot more about that in future episodes as well. But before we get into today's episode, we got to get my boy Dor on. Dor, how we doing, bro?
Yo, what's going on, dog? Every day's a holiday. Happy to be here again, man. The markets, there's a lot going on in the market, a lot of SMB drama, and as the resident SMB holder, my bag's a little shaky, but you know, it'll be fine.
It will be
But yeah,
fine.
man, what's up, dude?
I said it will be fine. This too
Yep,
shall pass, right? It's
yep.
just it might be a while.
Yeah, oh, it's gonna be a minute, dog. At least until the new collection comes out. But yeah, dog, it's rough.
That's
I
right.
just I just find it funny. But anyway, I'm sure we'll get into it.
Yeah, we definitely will. I mean, it's probably one of the first things we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But as I said, we'll just talk about it right now. We did announce on Twitter, if you guys don't follow Play the Heist, we did announce that we are minting on April 17th. After long talks and everything like that, we want to make sure that we are feature rich right off the rip. Make sure that we had everything that we wanted to have on launch. And we also want to keep NFT NYC in mind. This is going to be a browser-based game, right? It is going to be something that is optimized for desktop. You will still be able to play on your Phantom mobile or your phone as well, but it's optimized for desktop. So with that in mind, you know, we know a lot of people in NFT NYC are going to be on their phones. It just didn't make sense to have a browser-based game. So that Monday, as soon as NFT NYC is done, we will be minting. We will be minting on Magic Eden. Should be seamless. Should be all good. And I also want to talk a little bit about just a few things, because I think this just goes into overall market dynamics, what we can offer you guys. Just one, from my experience, and two, is as far as insight goes. Mints, guys, we were quiet for a little bit. Like we honestly had that first month that we released Discord, maybe the first 2 weeks, got a ton of buzz, ton of hype. Then it died down. Everybody was chasing Bastards, Oogie, Wolf Capital, right? Once that went away, and once people saw that these were all going 3x in floor price, we then had a wave come right back to Heist, right? Right back to Heist. They were going for Heist, Soul Casino, and Mad Lads. That was just how it worked. My best advice I can give you is, one, do not delay. If you see a mint coming out like that, get in early. Like, get in early. There are so many people now clamoring my DMs asking for whitelist. And look, I simply do not have whitelist, and nobody's entitled to it. None of this space is, right. Like, the sense of entitlement in this space is palpable.
It's unbelievable, dog.
And
It's so crazy, man. Like,
yeah, I mean,
go
it's
ahead.
wild, right? So I don't know. This is no knock. This is not calling out a specific person or anything. It's just something I generally see, and I've never seen it like I have now that I am CMO of the Heist. So
Yeah.
my best advice to you, stay 2 steps ahead of the market. If you see something, try to get in early. While other people are grinding other whitelists, grind for the one that's coming afterwards. The chances of you getting in on a crowded trade, which means grinding for whitelist or trying to go in for raffles or however you want to go about getting whitelists, is going to be much better if you're going after the one that nobody's paying attention to yet. So make your bets, place them early, and while everybody's focused on one, you focus on the next, right? Staying 2 steps ahead of the market is like the ethos of RareFUD Radio, and I cannot stress this enough.
Yep.
The Heist project, our project with Longwood Labs, we saw the same with Bastards and Oogie and everything like that. You got to stay 2 steps ahead of the market. So now everybody's clamoring to get Heist, whitelist, and Mad Lads, right? This is something that you could have attended to earlier, and you would have had a much better shot. And so my biggest advice, because we are not the last hype mint, right? We won't be the last.
There'll be many more.
Yes, there's going to be plenty more. I promise you. We're going to have so much fun with this game. This is going to be a game that, may have its ebbs and flows on mint day like any other project, but I guarantee you we'll have enough to keep people engaged and entertained right off the rip. You're not going to be waiting for reveal. You're not going to be waiting to play the game. We'll have everything at launch, but nonetheless, there's going to be other projects too. So my best advice, stay ahead of the game. That is what RareFUD is all about. We are here to give you the alpha before the alpha gets dropped. We are here to help you stay 2 steps ahead of the market. That is the whole point of the show. So please, one, if you think I'm fading you right now in DMs or on mentions or anything like that, I'm not. I'm simply like inundated with mentions, DMs, everything, Discord pings, all that good stuff. And then also, I do not have that many whitelists to give away. Like I that was long ago. I'm in the hundreds now. We are in the hundreds collectively. It is not. We have to ration this between now and the 17th. So we have 10 days. And we have very little whitelist left. So we need to make sure that we allocate it appropriately. I promise I'm not fading you. I know we're going to miss some people. I am so sorry in advance. No mint process is perfect. But nonetheless, your chances are increased at the beginning. Go in at the beginning. Be
Mm-hmm.
early.
Yeah, I can't agree more with that, Bison. And if it makes you guys feel better that you guys don't have whitelist, guess what? I don't have whitelist either. Host this show all the time with Bison, didn't get price whitelist, didn't get pre-sale from them either. So yeah, all my pre-sales were from Monkey DAO and Cyber Samurai. So I didn't get any special RareFUD treatment. I didn't get any hookup from Bison. So if you boys are hurting, I'm hurting with you. But yeah, Bison, I definitely agree. Another thing to add on to getting whitelist, I just think it's important to join a community that gets whitelist or pre-sales a lot to these projects. Usually in Monkey DAO, we get so many whitelist hype projects before they're hype. So that's another thing I recommend is instead of like grinding for whitelist, try to get enough liquidity to get in one of these top tier communities. Tayo, I'm sure Geckos gets a lot. So, Monkey Baby Business, I'm sure they get a lot as well. So just get liquidity to get in one of these top projects, and that way you don't have to grind for whitelist. And yeah, it's not guaranteed, but also your chance at pre-sale and whitelist are a lot higher in those places.
Yeah, I think it brings up a really good discussion point, Dor, because I mean, we will get into market overview. I also see Joe's having terrible connection issues. What's new, right? I see him popping in and out of the lobby, so hopefully Joe can sort that out. But before we get into the market overview, I just talk yes, this is. I would love to see a more perfected process. I think Mad Lads actually has a good one, but that's because they have the product to do so. This is a product-backed NFT, right? That's what Mad Lads is. It's backed by Backpack. They're driving traffic to Backpack and rewarding users of the product with Mad List, right? And so I think that's a phenomenal way of going about it, but not everybody has the means to do that. And so I wish we can find a more fair and even then we gave pre-sale to 26 DAOs and projects. We gave over 350 collabs just on Subber alone. We got more than 3,000 requests. Like we just simply don't have the bandwidth, but it means NFTs are live and I'm so happy about it. Nonetheless, the mint price is usually the best price that we can get in. So, it's tough because there is a financial incentive there. And my whole goal with CMO is finding the right people for the project. I know there's going to be some flippers and minters and everything that. But really, I just want people to hold this because I know we're about to deliver an experience that everybody is just going to be hyped about, hyped to play, make it part of their daily routine and everything like that. So, look, I will never sell shame you. We talk about it all the time on the show. If you guys do have
take your profit
and want to take your, Costco hot dog profit or a 2X or whatever. You go ahead and do you, boo-boo. But I'm telling you right now, my whole goal post-mint is to make you absolutely regret it and buy in about 4X higher. So minimum. And then that's minimum. So anyways, with all that said, that's not financial advice either. I probably have to disclaim that too. I don't know if that should be construed as it. Again, nothing on the show is financial advice. Now that all that is through, we do have our third co-host. His connection problems are resolved. What is going on, JoeSol?
What's up, Joe?
The boys. Feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Love you guys, man. Happy to be here. Sorry, late per usual, but what would it be if I wasn't late?
Exactly.
I think things would be going wrong. I think we'd be scared. Exactly, bro. It's rarely on time.
That's right. How you doing today, man?
Rarely on time. I love you guys. Thank you for dealing with me.
Of course, always, bro. I will.
Wouldn't be a show without you, dog.
Any other way. Wouldn't have any other way. So, now that we have Joe in here, we can talk a little market overview. Talk a little bit about volume. We are looking at about 155,000 Solana volume, 93K over on Magic Eden, representing about 60% of volume. Tensor with about 45K, coming in at about 28.5. Hades Swap at 11K. They love that 10 to 15K Solana volume range on any given day. And so they're almost pegged to it at this point. I don't know what it is, but looking down the chart, exchange chart at 1.28 thousand Solana volume. That seems lower than I'm used to. And honestly, that might be a little alpha right there because I think when people aren't looking at 101s, that's probably the time to get in. So maybe my alpha, because after Mad Lads, I really don't know too many more hype mints. Bodagos is really the only one that I know off the top of my head. And maybe Kids, KYDS, Sandbar at some point too. But I think when it's quiet, because we're about to go through our mint sprint, right? We're in the middle of it. We got Heist, Mad Lads. At some point, Bodagos, Sandbar, and KYDS, Kids. It's probably up there. It's some way, shape, or form, on some level of hype. And Wasta too. I love Wasta
Yeah.
Corp. But nonetheless, we're getting through our mint sprint. So what happens after that? Well, if there's a lack of mints and we don't really know anything coming, there's really two plays that you can do. One, sell in May and walk away. We talk about this all the time. Could actually be a real thing coming. But the second one would be, if people aren't paying attention to the one-on-one market, maybe that's a time to start entering into the one-on-one market. Maybe this is the time to start accumulating some of your favorite artists, start exploring, start diving into the one-on-one space. This has been a strategy of mine over the past, year now? And it usually almost always works. Like, this is the time to really get good prices on some awesome pieces.
Yep.
Thoughts on this, Door? Thoughts on the market? And then we'll go to Joe.
Yeah, man, the market's lively right now, and I'm just curious about what happens. Like, we're not at that point where I don't think mints are going to start slowing down, but it becomes that turbulent time where things are kind of iffy, and that one project goes to mint and doesn't mint out, and then the market's bearish from that point on. So I think we're good for the next couple mints, but after that point, I'll start getting a little nervous. In terms of one-on-ones, I completely agree with you, Bison. While nobody's looking at the one-on-one market, there's a lot of good things out there that you can probably pick up for a discount. The only thing you got to keep in mind with one-on-ones is they're super illiquid, but also the returns on them can be super high. It just requires a lot more time than usual. But yeah, man, overall the market's pretty good, and your boy's dabbling in ordinals a bit too, so I can't be happier.
Yep. Absolutely. And we'll talk about ordinals because he did make a purchase that I definitely want to hint in on or hone in on. Joe, how are you feeling about the market right now?
Yeah, we're feeling good, man. I've since I don't have a lot of time, I've been web 2ing it pretty deep. I've pretty much switched over to market making a few collections I really like, and cure fees, and basically keep the bag that I want to keep on the side, and basically pass on. I mean, take profits, right? And have it where it's a 5% delta where I'm helping the floor, right? 5% below the floor and then selling again and fight, right? So it's an incremental process. I'm not a market floor. I'd rather just sit with bags and not make any money than or sell, on that X after every time someone takes one from my pool, right? So I'm out here trying to make it nothing there, maybe a couple salami here and there, but for the most part, I'm just trying to help out the project and helping them with a solid floor. I think a lot of people hear market makers and think negative to it, and people that aren't greedy bastards can do it in a way that helps.
You cut out, bro. Yeah. Joe, your audio is horrendous right now.
Yeah, it's down bad, but
that is old school.
Is it any
Joe
better
vibes,
now?
Man.
Is it any better now?
I mean, I can hear you right now, but I'm telling you right now, you're just kind of. It was the old school, laggy, choppy,
old school,
Joe.
beginning of RareFUD Joe.
Oh, all right. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna leave and come back on my laptop.
All right.
Okay. Sounds good. Well,
yeah, no, I do agree with his point though. Market makers do get a bad rap of setting tight deltas on 100 NFTs in the collection, which significantly hurts floor prices. But in the sense of upward mobility of floor prices, because you got to go through this 100 NFT wall, but setting in at a 5% delta, you're not really having that much impact, but you are able to accumulate fees along the way. So I think that's the way to do it if you're going to market make. I haven't dabbled personally too much in market making, but it's something I like to get into.
Yeah, and so just to give you guys a little heads up on what Joe's talking about, you can do this on really any liquidity pool, any AMM like that. Our favorite right now, my favorite personally, is Tensor. And so I would start with something that is relatively low in collection, something that you don't have too much attachment to that is still very liquid. And one of the collections that Joe talked about, when we were talking about it in DMs, was Claynosaurs. Not Claynosaurs, but the clay from Claynosaurs, sitting at about a 2.6 SOL floor right now. And he doesn't really have emotional attachment to it, right? He's got, I'll keep my bag of what I need for my classes, but the rest I can just sit there and accumulate fees while people swap out. So this is something to be cognizant of as a way of making money when people are almost there's a stillness in the air, right? We got mints coming up, NFT NYC, people are going to be reacting to news and everything like that. There's going to be a lot coming in with it. So yeah, as far as Joe's market making strategy. I definitely agree. I think this is a really good time to do it, especially while we're just kind of sitting on our heels. We do have 155,000 Solana volume. That is good, but it doesn't really feel like a whole lot is just like skyrocketing, right? We're all just kind of like, kind of teetering back and forth on where we want to take our positions, and then hoping that the last half of this month is going to be an absolute rocket ship. But thoughts on that, Joe? Can we hear you?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Good.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so you guys explained it great. I think there's a play to be made if you don't mind holding a bag with market making, right? If you don't mind holding a bag with a fat enough delta where you're not hurting the floor price, the risk there, right, is that you end up holding a bag. So if you're doing it project that you love and that you don't care about going down and accumulating, then it's all good. I think people get scared when they start buying more than they're selling in their pool. And they start getting a heavy bag full of those NFTs, and if it's not a project that you trust or believe in, that's a scary position to be in.
Oh yeah.
However, if it's a project that you love and you don't care about, then you sit on that. You're accruing your bag at a decent position of strength, and then you wait for the next swing up. So there's risks in everything we do here, and there's so many different ways to make money. Sharkify, there's all these different avenues. And sometimes when we have decent volume, there's not a lot going on. It's okay to test the waters, go dip your toe in. You don't got to use a lot of money. Just figure it out. Like, oh, there's this utensil here. There's this utensil. There's a fork. There's a knife. There's a steak knife. There's all different ways to cut meat in this market. So just trying to, dabble my toes.
That's a really good point.
Yep.
That's a really good point. Yeah. So moving on, let's talk a little bit about what is going on right now. We do have a lot going on. We can talk about it. I'm gonna let Door take over this talking point. What is going on with SMB, Door?
Oh, dog, it's a goddamn fucking, it's a crap show, dude. Oh my gosh, man. I put out a whole thread on it because people were like, what the heck is going on? I think a lot of confusion comes from that people don't understand that there's a difference between SMB and Monkey DAO. You need an SMB to get into Monkey DAO, but Monkey DAO doesn't get any royalties or benefit at all from the SMB brand. So really what gives SMB its brand is Monkey DAO. So when Haze DAO goes out there and sells Monkey or SMB ordinals or whatnot, the reason that they're able to sell a couple for 100 SOL is because of the work that Monkey DAO put in, and people who are not informed buying those ordinals thinking they're going to be a part of Monkey DAO when that doesn't happen. So what's going on right now is there was supposed to be in a Monkey DAO independence proposal, the DAO agreed on, and apparently Nam had previous conversations with this about the Haze DAO team to hold off on doing anything with the SMB IP brand until we mint OMC so we can buy it from them. However, HGE came out on Twitter the other day, dropped some news that, oh, should we wait for somebody to wait around for this to happen? Other people wouldn't. So they decided to release an announcement saying, hey, we're going to create a Gen 3. Now, there's once again the confusion. People are like, oh, Gen 3 Monkey DAO or SMB, that means I'll be part of Monkey DAO. No, it doesn't. What Haze DAO is doing is trying to suck as much liquidity from people off of the confusion about Monkey DAO and SMB to line their pockets. Now in Monkey DAO, there's so much confusion. Like, people don't trust Haze DAO anymore and don't think that Haze DAO is going to do it. So people are talking about burning Gen 2s, burning or entangling their Gen 2s, or doing something to get away from the SMB brand. Things get even more crazier because I forgot the guy's name, something Genius, the leader of Galactic Geckos, came out and said that he would buy the SMB IP rights for 1.3 mil, and then it seems like that would be a loan where SMB would be able to pay. Monkey DAO would be able to pay him back after the official Monkey DAO collection mint. So Monkey DAO could finally get the SMB rights. But then guess what else? Let's throw some more gasoline in the fire and another monkey in this circus. Then we have Soul Casino. They're like, oh, well, we'll put in a 1.4 million offer. And I'm like, oh, great. You know what? They probably could do it too. You know why? Because they just came out with the 12 SOL mint and sold out and made like 60,000 SOL. And having the IP rights for that is probably worth more, dangling it over Monkey DAO's head. So now people are just like, it is an absolute crap show. Regardless of all that and how the optics of things look, the vibes in Monkey DAO are still there. Monkeys are more wanting independence for themselves to finally be able to capitalize and gain value, like monetary value, from the brand that the DAO has built. So our primary focus is just what is the best route to finally get either the IP under our control or just get away from it entirely so we can have our own brand and stop being manipulated by first the devs who rug, which in my opinion at this point they weren't doing anything, so doing nothing is better than these other people actively destroying the brand. But yeah, man, it's a lot, dude. It is a lot. And I also posted a thread detailing all of that, so you guys can check that out if you want.
Did he rug or did we rug, Joe?
Can you?
No, I heard him good the whole time.
Okay. I did too. It was just like the last bit. He froze for a second. Okay. I got worried. I was like, oh my gosh, no. He was on an absolute heater.
Hair.
Okay.
Hair on a tear.
So yes, you summed it up beautifully, Dor. Yeah, the name of the Galactic Geckos guy is Genuine Articles.
Yes.
And so yes, he started with a 1.2 mil offer. Then you had other people coming in like 1.3, 1.301 or something like that. It just like kind of got memed almost, but like I cannot think of, look, if they are going to get bought out or anything like that and just have it given back to them, I could not think of a better person than Genuine Articles, because geckos give me so much of like a similar vibe. I don't want to say they're like the next Monkey DAO, because that's disrespectful to both of them. They both built great things. And I just see geckos vibing a lot with the ethos of what Monkey DAO is trying to accomplish too. And I think the two of them together would be an absolute powerhouse. I would totally buy back in then. But then it comes to the point of, one, I was talking about this on No Fluff. I just think this is, there's been no clarity on what this deal even pertains. What I mean by that is that he bought the IP. Okay, what? Like, this is Web3. Do they have it trademarked or copyrighted or anything like that when it comes to patents or anything like that? The only thing Monkey DAO really has is a voting mechanism and a Discord, right? Like, let's be honest. They got Monkey Ventures too, right? And so like a crowd, those are like the three things that they have, and it wasn't even built by SMB. So really all they have is just the image and the website that are SMB related, right? So he spent, what was it? It was like 9 mil or something like that he spent in order to acquire SMB. I might be completely off of that number, but this sounds like the worst business deal of my life, dude. You cannot buy community. You can't do it. Like, you can't buy over the community and say like how he's treating them feels more like employees than like a vibrant community that they are. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I think another thing I have issue with is Monkey DAO's response to, like, well, one, I mean, look, the original, how this all started to begin with was the original SMB devs. They were the ones who absolutely screwed. And I think we lose sight of that because we're like, oh, it's Hades DAO versus Monkey DAO. It's Soul Big Brain versus HGE because that's more entertaining. But really, this all stemmed from just the original SMB devs being absolute. I can go off and say really ugly words. They're terrible. They're literally the worst part about monkey business, right? Like Solana monkey business. And I hate it for them. They deserve so much better. They then started this whole colossal clusterfuck, dude. I mean, just absolutely colossal. And so now we have HGE who bought the rights, which still doesn't even make sense to me. You cannot buy community. You cannot buy like these guys and expect them to work for you or do anything like that. He's not being agreeable. He's not being approachable even. And he's just being combative. Honestly, all he did was buy himself a villain arc. That's all HGE did. Because like,
hey, it's paying off well for him.
Look, if that's what his goal was, congratulations, you did it. But I just don't see in the long run how you win out on making this deal. And so now you have people coming in, you have new players entering the arena. It just doesn't make any sense. I will also say, and I cannot wait to talk to them in NFT NYC about just like their thought process on this. I love the OMC. I love that they're breaking away from the monkeys. They're going to make their own collection. It's going to be the Monkey DAO collection. They will be known as the monkeys, right? That's sick to me. What I have a problem with is that it's going to be a 15K collection. I love the exclusivity feel of a 5K collection versus a 15. I don't really care for the mint price, but I get it because they've worked for free for so long. I just wish there was like a better dish. Really, it should just be 1-to-1. And hey, there's going to be like a bridge cost or whatever you want to call it, you know, like 10 SOL, and it should be like 5,000. And then from there, if you really wanted to, you could do a token sale to vote into the Monkey DAO. You know what I mean? Like they could have tokens if they wanted to, and just auction those off or sell those off if they needed more funds. In my opinion, that I think that would be the best way of going about it. But when you take a step back and look, there's no clear way for this. There is no clear solution. I think everybody's just tired of it right now.
Yeah, and as a monkey holder of 2 monkeys, yeah, it's a bit tiring. And like, well, regardless of like all this drama or whatnot, the floor price is still around the low that it's hit. I don't think it's dropped below 144, even with all of this drama. And I think that's really a positive sign. Even with all of this, even in the Discord, vibes are still good. People are still bullish on the future of Monkey DAO. It's not imploding on itself from the inside. And I think that's the most important thing that matters. As long as the holders aren't sitting there freaking out saying things are coming to an end, people can speculate and come out with their own opinion as they want. Regarding like the mint or whatnot, I was a little off put by 15K, but 15K is really I guess the new benchmark of like a new collections that's coming out now, and especially community-based collections. Youth is a 15K, doing well. Pilots was a 15K, and also even with the mint price, while yes, it may seem a little pricey, SMB does a lot to not only pay the team because they've been putting their efforts in for free for so long, but also to constantly do events for free that are free for our monkey holders, man. And I think that's really where it shines at. Like even in New York, we're about to go there at a rooftop bar, and we don't have to pay anything. I paid an extra $40 because I wanted a hoodie, but it's just like those type of events. And also the other things that they do, a lot of people don't know, where if you're in a city and 5 or more monkeys meet up, they're comp a portion of the meal for you guys just hanging out. So it's just that type of value that goes back into the project and just doing various things to really expand the monkey brand. So I'm not really opposed to it. We usually go through these cycles of, oh man, the mint price is too high. We said that with Utes. We said that with pilots. We say that with Soul Casino minted for 12. So at least I know Monkey DAO is going to be around.
Here's my problem with it, Dor, is like, because you're right. I mean, if you want to look at it in equivalent sense, the mint price for the monkeys, or proposed mint price for monkeys, is the same as it was for Dust for Utes, right? And it's about the same size. What, Utes is 12.5, not 15, right? I think it's 12.5.
Okay, I could be wrong.
Guys, if I'm wrong in the chat, you guys let me know. But I don't know. It's somewhere around there. So anyways, it was about 20 sold a mint in Dust, right? So unless you got in early, like we did, we called it on the show, we called it on Twitter. You guys should have followed. But nonetheless, what I like about that system is that Dust was accumulated by DGods holders already. So for them, it was a free mint. And this is not a free mint for the original monkeys, who are having to literally diamond hand during the worst debacle I've seen on a project of this stature. Like this is an absolute cluster. And then in order to remedy and get your freedom, you have to pay. That for me, that just doesn't sit right. You know, like I would give them a free mint, and then if you want to charge, money for the rest of the public allocation, go for it. Like go make your bag, boo-boo. They've done so much free work for this space. So much.
The great thing about Monkey DAO is like a lot of people in there would be willing to put up liquidity to raise money to get away or to acquire the SMB brand. People understand in Monkey DAO how much effort and time people have contributed for free. So that's why a lot of monkey holders don't mind paying that 10, 14 soul or whatever they have to pay to mint.
Yeah. At the end of the day, look, not a monkey holder. I will be the monkey collection, like the OMC collection holder when the dust settles and everything. Said it for a long time. I just really love Monkey DAO, and I want to see them win. Joe, you're awfully quiet over there. What are you thinking of about this whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to put. I mean, Dor's got his hand in the foot in the door and knows more than most of the people on the TL. And then Bison, you have some good devil advocate that I think is really the only thing that's the hesitancy for me is the collection size. But I understand that you have to reward initial SMBs and then you want to onboard new people, right? If you're building a whole new IP in play. So I get that fully. And it has been successful before. Utes has shown that you can do it successfully. It's not easy, but you can do it. So I see both sides of the play here with you guys. You guys both put it beautifully. I don't have anything to add.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm hopefully this is the last time we talk about it. The next time we talk about it, hopefully it will be like a solid 100% going to be done proposal for all parties to just be happy. I just want.
I guess all I can say is I feel bad for Nam. Truly feel bad for Nam. This was like his baby, man. He worked a long time to get this going, and he was right there on the cusp. And then
So honestly, just as a person, like let's forget about money, let's forget about everything else right now. I truly feel bad for that man, dog.
Yeah.
And I hope I hope that, like you said, Dor, like they've gotten to the point where the floor price isn't moving. I think everyone that's is ready to help and move it forward and get it going. So yeah, regardless of everything else, I biasly hope the best for Nam and everybody, man.
Yep.
And
100% agree.
yeah, and that's why it's like on the TL, it's like he has to deal with a lot of that negativity on the timeline, and not even like directly from DAO members, but also it's like that public facing aspect it's really important. And Nam does a great job of managing that. And I make sure, to tell him anytime I get a chance, and I can't wait to see him in NYC, that he is doing a good job, because this isn't something easy to navigate, man. It's like, it's a pain in the butt. And to have somebody be able to willingly do this, hats off to him. Now, and if I think we'll see a big pullback if Nam's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
It's done so, dog.
If Nam ever left, that's it. I mean, really any of them, because I like Ricky a lot too. And a lot of the other council members, or whatever they call themselves, the head of the table, basically.
The DAO board or whatever.
Yeah. So, it sucks because he doesn't have the agility of just being a single person making a sole decision. He has to bring it to the council members, then they vote on it, then they might have to get the DAO to vote on it. Getting the DAO to vote on something takes a little bit. And so it's just like they don't have the agility sometimes to make decisions. You know what I mean?
While yes, he doesn't have as much agility to make decisions. It's more agile than it was before he was implemented as CEO, because I like the structure that he did it, where he provides overall voting proposals like, if this happens, then we'll pursue this. That allows him, the DAO, to know the end goal, but allow him the flexibility to work in between, and doesn't have to come back asking for everything for every 2 seconds.
Agreed. Yep. I do think it's a little bit more seamless now, but there was a point in time where Nam was just like, kind of the unspoken leader, or leader figure within Monkey DAO. And then, it was made official, and they definitely have more agility over there. Nonetheless, we're beating a dead horse. I wish them all the best. I can't wait to talk with all of them in NYC and just pick their brains on, where they're at, and like if I can be of any help, because I want to see them win. I love Monkey DAO, even if I'm not holding a monkey. Well, I am holding a monkey right now, thanks, Dor. But even if I'm not holding a monkey, I want to see them win, because I think it'd be good for the space. So moving on, we got a ton to talk about still. A ton. Let's talk about NEOP. I'll be brief about this, because I have no idea what happened here. And again, I've just been so laser focused on Heist and RareFUD and real estate. And I have made like 5 actual trades in like the past 2 weeks. Nonetheless, NEOP absolutely cooked. Nice little pixel art. I actually like the pixel art a lot. It was an interesting mint dynamic. So basically, where you picked on a grid is where I don't even know how to explain it, but you could mint on a grid. It was the most interesting mint process I've seen, and I only saw a little bit of it, so I can't even explain it too well. I'm also hearing things that you might be able to change the pixels and everything like that. If somebody knows more about this, like, please absolutely school me on Twitter, because I want to know more.
You can change. So like they're doing a thing on Canvas where you can like change the actual pixel color and size. Like, so it's gonna like customability of the PFP itself. But other than that, I think it had a really good pre-sale at the right time. It caught wind of liquidity in the market, and they kind of threw it in like, hey, pre-sale real quick, Like they pre-sold for a while beforehand, but they were able to have a good majority hit right where that liquidity was going. And every single person got excited from there. Then they had a deep, I just think if you can get 85% pre-sold or minted out right away, that's the sweet spot. Because then if you allow anything for retail, they're going to come in and feel so supported and good off of that 85% number and go, okay, I'm minting my max mint. I'm going to be in public max bidding. Then, secondary hits, it's 2x. Whatever, I'm going in because I'm looking for that 4 to 5x. And I think we've seen it now where I know people are being careful with their money, but at the end of the day, every mint we've had in the past month has gone 2x or more. You get what I'm saying? So the liquidity is here for that to happen. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. We've seen it's almost like an ordinal maxi type of art come at the right time with pixelization and speculation play. So I think it's just a perfect storm, to be honest with you, because they didn't have anything that's blown the covers off of like a utility aspect or community aspect. I think they found just like that niche time in the market, man. And so many projects swing and miss, but some hit it right on the sweet spot. And I think that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. So JS said if we can get him to come up and talk, I would love to get JS to come up and talk.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll send him
JS
the
can
link
come
right
through.
now.
yeah, because
Yeah, I got
I'm curious about it because it sounds cool. Honestly, it sounds really cool.
your
It sounds
Twitter
super
DM,
interesting.
JS. Sorry, brother.
Yep, I
Sorry,
hit him up in Twitter DMs with the link. But nonetheless, this project sounds really cool, and just the fact that it wants to do something different. I love some good pixel art. It's always fun to see. But you know, I will let JS, if he wants to come up, elaborate on that a little bit more. They went like, okay, let's check out the price action because I'm pretty sure they like 3x, right? Do you know what the mint price was, Joe? Actually, we'll just ask.
Dude,
JS.
let's go. JS.
Yo, what's
come
up,
drop
JS?
knowledge. Come on, I'm trying to just not talk anymore. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me again. Love being here.
I'm going to make you the fourth co-host if you keep it up, or at least
I
guest
know.
co-host.
You're gonna be the third co-host soon. They're gonna be kicking my ass.
Yeah. So,
JS, can you talk a little bit about NEOP? Because again, I'm fingers on like pulse on the market right now, but this went completely over my head. I completely missed this. What happened here?
sure. So I actually had whitelist and faded, and miss some, happens, win some, lose some. That's all good. But the thing here is that it's a dynamic NFT, and basically what that means is that if you change the metadata you can easily change the metadata of the NFT using some type of smart contract. And if you're actually not aware, that's basically what Sui is entirely doing. Like their entire NFT structure is dynamic NFT. So this is kind of a taste of that. So I think very important to keep that in mind as we kind of go through the next couple months. But basically, each pixel on your NFT can be changed, and they have an integration with Twitter where if you change a pixel on their app, then it edits it for your Twitter live. You don't actually have to do anything. So that part's cool. I think the really cool part is that they're going to create a canvas. Basically, it's like a map, and through the app, and other people, you can charge other people to edit your canvas. So it's like a sneaky Web 2.5 metaverse type of thing where it's like, okay, if I want to advertise something, you're more than welcome to do so. And something like you guys, say you have your own NIOP or a couple NIOP NFTs. Suddenly you say, okay, I will allow the public to edit my pixels on canvas to, let's say, for an advertisement or something. And there's a couple cool community events that you can do, but I don't think it has too many legs behind it, but I like the experiment.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most interested in, right, JS? Because one, I love dynamic NFTs. I actually think this is more so the future of what I envision NFTs to be. Like there'll always be immutable static NFTs. I think that should always have its niche, right? But if we want to progress in like, for instance, let's say we wanted the title on a house, right? In order to change the name on the title of the house, we'd have to have a dynamic NFT, right? It would have to be coming in some way, shape, or form. Maybe there's changes in the survey and where the boundaries are on it, right? So we had to change the boundaries on it. If it's not dynamic, then we're having issues with that. So this to me, I want a piece of this because it's solely just for the fact that it is. Is it not the first one on Solana, JS?
It's actually not. So the thing is that it's the first one that's actually had good support for it. So I'm not sure if you guys know Divine Dog Transcendence. They basically had their art done by Hypelinks, and those traits were swappable. They have their own script to do it, and there's a whole website to do so. I think it was a bit early. I'm close with the guys over there, and I think they had a really cool idea in terms of swappable traits without using boots and stuff. And I think it would have worked had people been a bit more aware about it. And I think that was also, right after FTX and stuff like that. So shit hit the fan, right? And it's tough to it's tough to sell anything in that market. And I think just right thing, wrong time. So I think dynamic NFTs really, really work well with gaming. Because my thought is like, okay, say I have some gun that's displayed as an NFT. How do I kind of change the characteristics of that gun, or the strength, range, whatever attributes you want to have, and without having to basically burn and remit?
because that adds a layer of friction that, to be honest, no one's going to go through. And when we talk about onboarding events, friction, it has to be basically frictionless. And I think dynamic NFTs allow that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely see it with gaming, and it's something we got to explore, because right now how we do it with remnants and how we will do it with heist is that there's attributes and stuff that are done offline that are then uploaded to it. So it's a very interesting process on how we do it. I would love to do everything on chain though, if we can. It's also more a byproduct of, like, there will be a ton of microtransactions and everything that needs to be on chain, and we don't want to, completely overload it with just one game, but it is Solana. So the nice thing is we have a long way to go before we do that. It's another iteration of like dynamic NFTs, X NFTs. We got Fire Dancer coming. This is all the things that I see as progressions forward for how we move this space past, what we're kind of stuck in, where it's like a PFP meta, and there's like reveals and community, and like, I love community, but we're also at the point where we're kind of tapped out on community. You know what I mean? Community-based plays and everything like that. It's like, bro, like some of these communities been around for forever. How you expect to compete with them? They would have joined them. They would have gone in one-on-one boutique communities. I know you hold a scum piece. I love like our low fronts resonance chat and everything like that. Those are fun communities and a little bit more niched, right? So it's a little bit more tight knit and everything. But nonetheless, I think these are the technologies that are actually going to progress us further. So first off, thank you so much, JS, for coming up here and giving us a little bit more about NEOP.
Appreciate the rundown, dog.
Yeah, for sure.
You are more than welcome to stay up here for the rest of the show, because we definitely have some more things to talk about. So moving on, we do have Oogie reveal tomorrow. If you guys don't know, how Oogie reveal will work is you actually have 3 chances of revealing. How do you do that? So from my understanding, you have your Oogie pod, right? So you can go ahead and reveal it. Well, if you don't like what you see, you can then use your ooze that you were airdropped to then do it a second time. If you don't like that time, you can use 2 oozes and then reveal it the third time. You cannot do anything more than 3. You cannot go back. So if you were like, oh, I got a rare, but I want, go for a legendary, and then you go for a common, you're stuck on that one unless you do the next reveal, and you can't go back, right? And then you're stuck after 3. 3 is your final one. I think this is actually pretty fun. Like, as much as I give, Oogie, like, I don't give him shit or anything, because I love Justin, I love Andy. I think they're really good people for the space, and I think this reveal mechanic is sick. I think the art style is actually really good. I just don't care for the character model, right? I think the art itself is really good. I'm curious to know what your guys' opinions are on Oogie and its reveal. Do we think it dumps? I mean, I think across the board we'd probably say unanimously, yeah, there's probably gonna be a little bit of a dump. But what do you think about the pods and the game theory that goes behind it? Let's go with Door first, JS, and then Joe.
Yeah, man. The game theory behind it sounds fun, man. I always enjoy these kind of dynamic mint cycles, or something innovative in the space instead of just the typical reveal and you get what you get. So yeah, it's definitely fun to see. And you know what? Oogie has blown out my expectations. So I would normally like, oh, post mint dump. Who knows, man? Especially with this type of minting process, what can happen? So I'm not gonna fade Oogie. I don't want to say I faded them in the beginning. I just didn't know much about them. But I mean, they've proven themselves to do well, and this seems pretty fun. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it will be fun. I think, it may be another tube situation where if you hold on to your pod and you don't reveal, well, there may be something cool that happens with that too. So maybe something interesting. It may be another tubes play where you can just hold on to that thing if they haven't explored too. And maybe you guys have some more insight on that. You could hold on to it and just leave it unrevealed. Still be part of the community, still vibe with them and everything like that. But you leave it unrevealed, and somebody who comes through and is like, I want to take my chance with my ooze and see if I can reveal a legendary in 3 tries or something like that, then by all means, you probably make more net profit that way than revealing it. What are your thoughts on that, JS?
I think it's cool, but one problem I have with it is that for me, minting an NFT should be simple and reveal should be simple. I'm okay with people kind of customizing some of the traits and stuff, but I don't like rerolling rarities. I think I think rerolling rarity is something that should not be touched, and I've actually advocated against boots for this manner specifically. I think unless you completely derive the value in traits alone and basically no rarity in base models. Then boots can make sense as just like you're just flipping the system. But if you're doing it with just normal NFTs, I think what they should allow to do is like, okay, you can re-roll traits of the same rarity, just to fit kind of your personal vibe. Because I think people are looking for a profile picture they can kind of resonate with. And I think that's a kind of cool way to increase community engagement because, again, just the more people that like their profile picture, the louder they're going to be. But with re-rolling rarities, that kind of turns me off a bit.
Yeah. I agree with that sentiment. Re-rolling, I actually have like I'm fine with it more so in the sense that, it is more gamified. It's not like you can go back and it's not like you can change back either once you mint. So I think I'm all right in that sense, but I totally agree with your point where you're talking about I'm kind of against boots. I've kind of said the same thing too, JS, especially on collectibles where you are trying to mint for that legendary. It's like, imagine you got, a shiny Blastoise and one day you're just like, oh, I just want to change it over to a Charizard.
Re-roll this.
Yeah, let me just re-roll this or something. That doesn't happen in collectibles. And sometimes that's what takes away what is our value right now in generative work. It is the collectible side of things. It is the art side of things. I will say there are, just like you said, I think there are instances where boots is actually really appealing to me, where Lily's a great example of this. And how Lily's going about it is that you can change like hair color to match more of your style, right? And then you can also change like skin tone to match more of your skin tone or a skin tone that you want. I think that is a cool instance because to me, that's just like making it more personal without messing with rarity too much. You know what I mean? It's not like they're changing out their empty hand for, one of the Ultima swords or something like that. They're changing something that is just to make it a little bit more personable, right? I think that's the good instance of doing it because you're still getting the collectible side. Like there won't be any more swords, at least from my knowledge. There won't be any more like Blastoise outfits or anything like that. The rare traits will still be there. You just get to tailor it a little more to your liking. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think another collection doing that is Liberty with their upcoming Degenerates mint. I know that's after Legends, but basically the entire value of the NFT is derived in the trait. There's actually like no ability. There's no rarity differences in the base model. And what that allows for is like, okay, there's just these free minted NFTs for the base model. And then you just buy traits and you can swap those. And that I'm okay with because it's kind of flipping the entire thing on its head. But in the end, it's the same value prop where you're collecting the traits instead of the base model. So yeah, I'm good with that. Will be kind of cool to see how it plays out because again, sometimes people are just opposed to change and just even though it's like the same thing, it's not.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, it's so weird in this space that like first mover almost always gets punished for doing cool things, and I just think that's not fair. And it's just at first. Sometimes it catches on, and then they're like, "Oh, this project did it first," and so maybe Transcendent Dogs from Divine Dogs actually gets a pump when people are like, "Man, dynamic NFTs are cool." I still have mine. I still have my Transcendent somewhere in my wallet.
They're one of mine as well.
Yeah,
Yo, drop me that question before I forget it again. Y'all both answered. I totally forgot.
Yeah. So Joe, what do you think about Oogie's gamified minting, where you have these like 3 rerolls? You have to burn ooze in order to reroll, 1 for the first reroll, and then 2 ooze for the second reroll, and then you can't reroll after that. And then how do you feel about like boots and trait swapping?
Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So Oogie, I think obviously the weaponized speculation, just like YouTube's, is done when you don't have a true utility behind it. You are basically inflating the price of your floor through weaponized speculation. You don't really have much after that. I get it. It's cool. It's fun. But is it a business? Is it a SaaS? Is it, like, what are you there for at the moment? Like you talked about community building. That shit's hard, bro.
Yeah.
That's been there for a while. So can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can hear you, Doug, and your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Damn, my thought is lost right now. Am I good?
Yes. Yeah, you're fine.
You're good, Joe.
We can
you're
move
perfect,
on.
Joe.
Oogie, boom. So that's my thought on Oogie. With boots, I think you guys hit hit it on the nail on the head there. I do think it works for relative collections. Like Lily's a good point. And then like I think another one is Wolf Capital. Only because there's a set utility for that's coming. You hold your 3 and you hold them, but like why not have fun on the community and the artist side, because it's based towards artists. So like you're able to have new trait packs for like artists that can come in and earn money through their things. You as a consumer can build the best wolf that you want with all these cool little traits and whatnot. So I think there's relative plays that works for, but for the most part, like actual PFP collections, like let's say D-Gods, like I wouldn't want my supernova being able to go grab another supernova and throw it on yours. And now my background is 18-20% less rare. Like, no, I definitely feel you on those type of projects. So that would be my roundup.
Well, so I guess that urges the question, Joe, because then I'm kind of in JS's side too. I think Jay Shep has thought about this well in advance and knows the mechanics and how he wants to go about it. So like I won't fade him on that, but also, you're like, oh, it's fun for Wolf Capital, but not for D-Gods. I don't want somebody coming in and getting a Nova background. If Wolf Capital was the same price as D-Gods, would you feel the same way? I guess that's the real question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
That's a good question.
And to be honest, you know what? I'd have to be like, probably no, I'd be feeling the same way as D-Gods right now. I mean, that's the truth of it. It really is. You know what? That's a great point. And I try to guess I'm biased with it, B. That's a great point. No, I wouldn't. I'd feel the same way.
But you do, like, I don't know. It's also different too, because this collection is new and it's kind of like pivotal to the collection. While this wasn't like D-Gods, if D-Gods just introduced this now, and of course I'd feel some type of way too, but like this was like they've been talking about doing this in Wolf Capital for a while, so you kind of expected it, or at least I think you would expect it, where somebody might be able to get a rare NFT from one of these trade packs, and I think that's what makes Wolf Capital a bit fun. But I also do agree with you, Bison. It's like if I had a supernova background, Joe, and some random dude just came in and was like, "Oh, look at my supernova background," I'm like, the fuck? How'd you get one?
yeah, exactly. So, I guess it's just like, it would be a really fun case study to watch, like, something on Wolf Capital where it's sub 10, Lily's about the same price too. It's in that teens range where it's going to be interesting to see, okay, swappable traits. How does that affect things, right? Versus, like a D-Gods. And again, this is in the collectibles community. We plan on doing something similar with Heist, but it's going to be more so like game focused, right? Like it's not trait swapping for the sake of trait swapping. It's trait swapping for the game, right? And so I think there's a little bit more nuance to it. Like, you have to earn a certain amount of Nana in game in order to buy some of these collectibles, or you have to reach a certain achievement in order to unlock a collectible. And so, or a trait swap, right? And so I think trait swapping with a purpose makes sense. And for a lot of people, that would be cool, especially if you have a wardrobe and you can switch back to maybe like, you had an OG trait or something like that you can't buy any more of. But,
I sneak in a question, B, to you personally. I know this is off tangent, but I saw a gold gorilla posted from Juice from the Heist. Now, can you tell me, is that mythic, rare? Can you tell me anything about that? And if not, just pass over me like I didn't even say anything.
You didn't even say anything. We'll talk about that soon, though. We'll talk about rarity and everything soon. Right now, you guys just be happy we gave you a mint date and launch pad. You guys know now. We'll give more information on mint and rarity charts and everything like that soon. Juice and I will be having a space on Thursday to be announced. And again, too, just so now that I'm remembering it, guys, we will be gone in NFT NYC next week, right? We're going to try to do a show on Monday, right? Monday, we're going to try to do a show. I'm not guaranteeing anything. If it works out with schedules, we will try to do a show. But until then, we are probably not streaming next week. We may have a space or something like that, just in lieu of it. Joe may host it because Joe's not coming to NYC, and that makes me really sad. But we are not going to have normal stream schedule next week. Just want to iterate that. So,
however, we should still have content coming out next week. So while we're not around, there will be content coming for you guys.
Absolutely. So you guys, we will let you guys know if you guys have not followed at RareFUD Radio on Twitter yet. That is where all updates will be posted. Make sure you're following all three of us and four of us now that we have JS too.
I know, right?
We will have updates on there as well. So moving on from this, guys, this was actually a really good discussion. First off, claps to you guys. This is like one of the most in-depth talks I've had about trade swapping in a
Theoretical.
while. So yeah,
Trade swapping.
there's another one with trade swapping though too, but I think it's a little bit more straightforward, and it's Iron Paw Gang, right? You get to switch out your mechs and pilots, but you have to have them, and you have to have at least 2, right, in order to do it. Pretty straightforward. I think it's cool. You want to make different pairings and stuff. Some of the purebreds were not actually minted together, so you might have to buy one purebred because you had the other, and if you want to make it with the background and like the full purebred, you have to buy them separately. I thought that was cool. Also, probably like a little bit annoying to some people. They're like, man, I got the mech, but I didn't get the driver, dude. I want the driver, and now I have to go pay this guy like 1 ETH. That might be a little annoying, but there has been some fun on the timeline. I do want to talk about it because a lot of people are questioning, what is Random Character Collective's involvement in this? What sort of relationship do they have with Adam Ape? There was a question actually just recently by JP was asking, okay, so is this an Adam Ape collection and Random RCC is just like backing him up or showing support, or is this an RCC collection and Adam Ape is just the artist? And honestly, like I was sitting there, I was like, I honestly don't know that. For me, I was always, this is Adam's passion project, and this is not FUD. This is actually just a serious question.
Yeah.
For some reason, price has gone down to 0.35, which that feels free. That feels so free to me. I'm loading up right now and grabbing like 2 of those at least minimum. But nonetheless, as far as like this FUD, and how do you guys feel about reveal? I guess that's the real question too. Let's go with Door, JS, then Joe.
For those who don't know, I've been holding 4x4 since like 20 Sol, and then I picked up a supply chain box for around 50-ish. So, I mean, I don't want to say I'm like super positive on terms of profit, but I'm not doing bad either with them sitting at 0.35. So, I mean, I like the art, man. I think it delivered. I don't have any issues with it. Adam's like nothing about Adam has changed from mint and why I picked him up. So I'm just going to continue to hold. At worst, I got exposure to ETH now with Adam Ape, so I'm not complaining at all. In terms of the FUD on the timeline, I don't know how to directly answer that, but I know Adam likes to give value back to his holders, and Iron Paw is one of his projects, so I don't see why he wouldn't give value back to that. So, I mean, we can talk about the intricacies of, is this a RCC project? If that's what, I don't even know that's to them. Rare something collective?
It's Random Character Collective. So
Random Character.
A little bit of background. They did Invisible Friends over, as well as some other collections too over on ETH, but I would say Invisible Friends is arguably the most notable collection over there. And yeah, there's also some more FUD. Thank you, Yuki Solana, for coming up with that. Let's go ahead and post that real quick. He is asking, he was like, price drop is because FUDding the team got purebreds. This is always so interesting to me because, like, bro, if I mint, like, if I got an airdrop, and guys, just so you know, the only pre-sale I got for Heist was from Remnants. It was just because I held my bag of Remnants. Our largest pre-sale was 2 Remnants. So I didn't get any team allocation. We are giving it all to the community. I didn't get any team allocation of Nana or any sort of edge. It is all a community-driven project. But just so you guys know, like, if I mint a legendary gorilla or something like that, am I going to get FUDded because I have no access to this? I am as least technical as possible. I'm just letting you know right now. If I get FUDded for it, I quit. I
coming
quit.
for you.
But I guess that's silly FUD to me, dude.
Yeah,
like, are you kidding me, bro?
Did like the team get all the purebreds, or did one team member get a purebred?
I don't know. I guess
I think people got to realize too that people move narratives in ETH, right? People, like, you might think, oh, that's foo-foo. That would never happen. People with money that can come together, 3 or 4 guys with some ETH to throw around. You FUD something down in a certain way. It's easy to FUD. You pay people whatever you got to do to bot things. You FUD something down for entries, especially with Blur now, man. There's a lot of money being made, especially when you have an Adam Ape narrative behind that. And I think that it's an easy FUD down, accumulate high, FUD sweeps away, and then they pump and they make a bunch of money. So you got to be careful with this. It's like being a minnow on the whale's back, like plankton, right? You're hopping on, you kind of ride the waves and see what happens in the market, right? Because what else has changed with Adam Ape and the project himself, right? Has he promised anything that hasn't happened yet? Like what you have to really get down to the brass tacks when this is, because it's a lot of just head noise at the end of the day. And I think people get manipulated and pushed out of positions for losses, and then turn around and FOMO back in on the back end for exit, and then they lose all their liquidity and they're gone from the market, and then they got a bad taste in their mouth, and it's all because they get they get chopped up in whale manipulation, man, and flood play. And I just think you guys got to start really thinking about this stuff when this type of stuff happens.
No, that's well said, Joe. Like, that's well said, man. And this is why it's important to build conviction in your plays, man. It's like, unless something that you notice changes in your investment thesis, you shouldn't let the FUD get to you. At worst, at best, you should be buying that FUD, because if your conviction is still there, that's a buying opportunity for you. With me and Adam, like, even though I didn't know anything about the FUD that's going on, why I invested in RNPaw literally hasn't changed. Nothing changed from what Adam said he was going to do. So why do I need to sell my bags? I don't.
No, not at all. JS, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, the FUD about the team getting a rare NFT, that's kind of silly. I guess it's a bit more difficult to process because the supply is lower than, your normal collections and stuff. But people, I think, always there's the jealous tendency, and it's like, oh, that should have been me type of thing. And that's where it stems from. Unless it was completely coordinated, I have no issue with it whatsoever. And I actually think it's good that someone on the team can represent some of the premier art, in the collection. Like something very similar is like with Aaron and Utes. He has that 1 of 1, and he rocks from time to time. And you're like, oh, cool, that's his 1 of 1. And building a brand around some of the most exclusive art in your collection, especially if you're on the team, is very worthwhile and good for them. I think with Adam and IPG in general, and then the connection with RCC, I think, like, logically, if I had to just look at this, I don't know anything in specific, but Adam probably just understands the art, and he probably partnered with RCC to kind of handle the whitelist, to handle just the mechanics and just the semantics of building out the mint in terms of marketing and stuff like that. So they obviously must have some partnership deal there, and maybe there's some future collaboration. I don't know. That's just me speculating, but I still think it's an Adam project.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I mean, look, this has been his love child, love child's probably the wrong word there, but it has been his absolute art baby. You know what I mean? Like, he has fostered this for a while now. He was the first guest we had on RareFUD, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, and that was a while ago, dude.
Wow,
he's been working on this for a while. He didn't make it public, but I mean, he's been working on this for probably a year now, and it's all been him. It's been his animation. It's been his art. He might have had a little bit of help as far as, maybe some of the technical side, or maybe on a few animations or anything, but it's really been like 90% Adam on the art side. So I just don't get why that would be like, it is a legit question, because I would love to know more about the relationship and just like how it operates, what sort of relationship do you guys have? But in the grand scheme of things too, as far as the FUD goes for the team member getting the rare, there was 40 purebreds, right? This is a 4,000 collection size. You had a 1% chance of getting it. Really, that's a really good chance compared to a lot of collections. You know what I mean? And top of that, there's 40 purebreds, but 20 of them were split up. So really, there was 60, right? You could have got a 1-of-1 that had both of them together, or you could have got a purebred mech, or you could have got a purebred pilot. There was 20 of each of those with different, pairings and stuff. So there was a 1.5% chance of you getting a purebred in some way, shape, or form. Maybe like a purebred, or a mech, or a pilot by themselves. To me, that's really good odds. So why are we FUDing this is a buy the FUD moment. Honestly, I will tell you right now, look, my risk is not your risk. We always say it on this show. I'm buying the FUD. I am absolutely buying the FUD. You give me all that FUD, I will eat it up.
If you're not buying during FUD and not buying through times of silence, and you're buying only when you're hearing about it, audio, you're late. And that you still make 1.5 to 3x. You still do it, right? But it's times of like that gut check, like when no one else is with you, when your homies aren't with you, when you're looking around in a dark room and you're just taking a leap. That's when you make money, right? And it's hard. But at the end of the day, it's like, do you have it in you to trust yourself and have conviction and have risk management? If not, this space isn't for you. And I think that's a hard pill to swallow. It's a conversation we don't want to have. There's a lot of people in this space that have liquidity that should not be investing in Web3 and NFTs. They don't have the mindset, they don't have the gut check for it, and they end up being salty and pushing a false narrative for us. So I think that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people too, right? Is like, the actual mindset. It's okay, right? Like I can't do accounting, I can't do chemistry, I can't do a lot of things. I really can't, right? But I can do some, and I found my niche. Like it's okay if this isn't yours. So don't try to like overextend yourself and keep losing money. There's different avenues for money in every way you could think about in this world. Web3 is a great place for communication and networking, but you don't always have to put your money out there, right? You don't always have to be a flipper. You don't always have to be a trader. You could be in Web3, be in communities, and really network and build yourself an infrastructure for business in Web2 as well. So there's always two sides of the coin, guys. So don't always feel like you're missing out on the mint, missing out on this. If you have people that you could reach out in other states and meet up and do things, and they can maybe hook you up with some type of logistics consumer, whatever you need for your business, that's a win too, right? That's like 2x in a trade. So just keep that in mind.
Absolutely. I think that's really
Well said, dog.
and some great
Mhm.
advice, Joe.
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna power through some of these things. One, we had a nice little wolf cap bump last night. It ran up to like 9 SOL or something. That's great. Honestly, I love J Shep. I wish them the best. I hope they make their bag. I wish they had enforced royalties because honestly, this art's sick. I love it. That's just my 2 cents though. Especially since they kind of got screwed on the mint funds and everything like that. Like they got half as much as honestly they should have.
Yeah.
Also, just a quick question on that. Do you guys think that a higher mint price means that floor price is going to go up more? Because this is something I've been thinking about lately. I'm just saying, or they hold that high mint price more. We saw it with Rifters. Do you remember how bad that art was and everything like that?
Oh, dude, grifters.
Yeah, grifters, dude.
Grifters, I remember grifters, dog.
Yeah, grifters came through. Dude, they held a 10 SOL floor
for a
price
minute.
for forever, even after the art reveal. Like, that was insane. Now
That
it may have
art
been
was
the promise of
horrendous.
like, oh, you're definitely gonna get your money back, and you definitely didn't. That actually leads into so yeah. I guess question on that: do you think a higher mint price? Because we saw it with Oogie, right? Oogie's holding a 25 SOL floor price. Do we think it has any influence on where a project goes? Klano was 10 SOL.
Yeah.
Klano was 10 SOL. Now again,
Bubble Goose was 9 though.
Like $10. Yeah, SOL was like $10. So I'm just saying, I don't know if there is. I would love to find out more, but I just think there's too many variables to like accurately depict if that's a real statement or not. But let's go into Soul Casino. They had a 12 SOL mint price. They got voted into the ground, still held 15. Then all of a sudden, what do you guys think about this announcement that they're doing 12 SOL back to the NFT holders? I have my thoughts on this. I'm gonna remain absolutely silent. I want to go to JS first on this, and then let's go Joe, and then Door. Switch up the order a little bit.
What a big brain idea. Holy shit. Oh my God. Enforced royalties, 7.7%. Mint price at 12 SOL to cover initial loss. Have a super hyped marketing plan with insane degens tattooing themselves. And then just refund mint cost. And you actually made so much from royalties. No way they're this smart. Like, are you kidding me? And you can now justify not doing rev share since every minter, anybody who's in the project who held up to this point is profitable. Ain't no way.
Let's go. Let's go. Well said, JS.
I'm just saying, honestly, this is like, if you want to see Grift 101 right here, this is it, dude. A 12 SOL mint price. Absolutely farm on these 7.77% royalties. Then, you know, when you start seeing your volume die down after you release that first announcement on Discord, like what even was that, bro? That was a convoluted mess. It was the epitome of, hey, happy for you, bro, or sorry that happened. I'm not reading all that. You know what I mean? Like that was the epitome of that meme, because I was just like reading it and I was like, this doesn't even make sense. I got through like 2 lines and I was like, I'm done. I know this is just a bad announcement. But then they go ahead and they're like, you know what? We're gonna farm some royalties some more. We're going to go ahead and say we're gonna give 12 SOL back to the holders. That's just a tweet. That wasn't a guarantee. There's no signing or anything like that. There's no guarantee. You want to know the last time we heard this? Rifters. We heard it on Rifters. Did it happen? No.
Well, I will say, okay,
no shot.
For Rifters, they did predicate it on their ETH mint going well, and surprise, surprise, their ETH mint did not go well.
I know. Who would have thunk it, right? I mean, gosh.
I for one am shocked. But I think if they actually follow through with this, I think the NFT goes to like single digits and they just scrap rev share and then it eventually goes to 0. and whatever, everybody made their money back ish, kind of. I think a smart play is you buy it now, loan it out for 12 SOL. It's still in your wallet to claim for when the claim period happens. You claim the 12 SOL, default on your loan. Oh, you're doubling up on some guy who's taking your NFT. But
let's go, JS. That's the strat right there, dog.
Dude, I got a question for you. JS, what do you think about their ability to pay out holders? And they can't pay out, let's say, a total of $120K, $1,000 to a couple winning holders.
So that was the rumor behind why they started,
right? Like, what can we prove from that? Like, is that the start of the mint itself? Is that why they started to look outward?
That's the rumor. I mean, I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, but to me, logistically, it makes sense because as a casino, if you're making money, why do you need to raise money? It's always like when you see people like share their trading algorithms, most of the time, I will say there's a couple that for people who kind of do it, for like cyber frogs, right? They're beasts. But most people selling their trading algorithm, why are you just increasing volume on your proprietary algorithm? If it works, you should keep it to yourself and just increase the money that you're putting into it. So logistically, selling it doesn't make sense. And I look at the casino business in a very similar way, where unless you're giving up because you just want to raise, like basically sell your portion of the casino, that makes sense. But I think they probably had some insolvency issues with one big player. And then after that, they're like, okay, now we can pay this person. Let's put up these insane royalties, farm ourselves back to like being in a solvent state, refund everybody for the mint, and somehow we don't get fudded. And honestly, it worked.
That could be so big brain.
It worked.
Like if it actually pans out that way, and I hope people get the 12 SOL because that would be the biggest
SOL again.
What'd you say, Joe?
They're at 21 floor.
Yeah. When they got that 12 SOL dividend or payback or whatever it's called,
so they're gonna pay that back. And all right, wow. You know what? GG's, man. I ain't mad at them.
I mean, JS, that's actually a really good like theory because honestly, it makes sense. That sounds right to me. And so they're probably, they're using the royalties too, not just for solvency, but I guarantee you for like additional insurance or something like that. So they're like, yeah, if we ever get like absolutely bent over by, a big whale or anything like that, well, at least we have more insurance wherever that may be, or gaming licenses, so we can introduce more games. I don't know what it looks like, but look, this is why I don't touch casino plays, man.
Yeah, man, I don't
do it. I don't do it anymore. Like if I ever get the chance to mint it, I'm immediately flipping.
Yeah,
it's toxic waste. It's passed until somebody else wants to take it, and it's as circulating liquidity as you can because these guys pay out 1 week and then never again. Even with like legit people like dual bots, right? I was fortunate to buy a metric shit ton of them on the way up, pretty early on. And I realized that, hey, look, the only thing that's driving volume right now is 1 or 2 whales. And gambling is not a zero-sum game. As soon as one of those 2 whales, one or a few of those whales eventually lose their money, they don't have any revenue coming in. So when I realized that, I just sold. And it's like, hey, it's going to happen with these guys too, unless they can kind of keep the marketing scheme much more broad than what it is now. Because let's be honest, Sol Casino is kind of a micro player in the casino game.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we can go on and on about this, dude. I can talk about Sol Casino for like another 30 minutes just because it is such an interesting case study.
Yeah, it is.
Everything. I have so many questions, and I know we all don't have concrete answers for them.
But the thing is, Bison is like, apparently we don't even need answers, dog, because that price is pumping, man. It doesn't matter.
It's degen land, and sometimes the easiest trade you can make is just turning off your brain and being like, I know. It's being the left side of the bell curve, and just being like, I know degens are going to degen into this, and just turning off any sort of logic or anything like that.
It doesn't need to make sense to pump, dog.
I mean, it's the same thing with coins and everything like that, dude. Sometimes the easiest trade you can do is just turn off the brain, literally make your size to where you want to like absolutely just like you start getting sick to your stomach and just send it sometimes. I am not advising that. That is not financial advice. Please don't listen to me.
Honestly, it's like Bison. It's ridiculous, but it's crazy because I was talking and Shakes in the crowd too. But I guess this can lead into ordinals for a bit. when I purchased Ordinal Maxi Business, man, I had that gut feeling like, man, should I really be buying this? Like, whew, it's hefty, man. 0.17 Bitcoin is no joke, man. So I was like, I went in there and I'm like, all right, it's like, I couldn't tell you exactly why this thing is going to do well. I just knew it was going to, I just got a feeling it's going to do well. ZK is top tier founder, man. He's been on Ordinals for a minute. I'm like, he's going to work stuff out over there. And the artist is a pretty well-known artist too. I mean, he's been doing art for a while now. And I'm like, this just makes sense. This just makes sense, man. So it's like, while I didn't fully understand it, I just kind of ate, dog, and it worked out, or at least it's working out right now.
Yeah. I mean, like sometimes it's just like Clay Dinos, right? You know, like at first it was like, are they really going to be as successful as they want? I was just like, they're fun. We need fun right now. And I just turned it off. And that's when I started buying. And then I started looking into it. I'm like, I'm so glad I just turned off my brain and just like bought with my heart. That panned out really well. So
but I think you guys make a good point. I like the best trades I've had is where I actually have my brain off, because it's just purely off of instinct. And if you've been around in this market for a while, you just know when someone's going to do well. And like, I'll take this back to like my best trade ever was always Liberty. You know, like you could just, I always say you can't buy a community NFTs. You can have a great product, you can have a great, marketing scheme, but you cannot buy a community. And, when I saw them like that, I just aped. And I then once kind of your thesis plays out is when you kind of reevaluate. But I still think there's plenty of plays on the market right now. It's just a matter of some liquidity kind of coming in.
JS, that was well said, dog. And that's the crazy thing about it. And I think when you're new in this market, you kind of feel like every play is that play that's going to make you those outsized returns. And that's not it. But when you're in this market long enough, you're able to see trends, even if you can't explain them or identify them, but your gut just knows like, yo, this is going to freaking send. And I had the same feeling during Bonk, man. I'm like, I purchased at one of the local tops, dude, and I just went all in. And I'm like, this is about to send. Was that smart to do? God, no. But I'm like, that's probably one of my most profitable trades there, even though it logically didn't make sense to do.
Yep, I wanted to puke when I bought so much Bonk.
Oh yeah, same, dog.
Yeah,
same.
It's okay. You're not me and didn't sell $3.5 billion on the first day. So,
bro, but I did. So I ended up selling. I got $6 billion, and I ended up selling that, and then I like bought $4 billion. I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna miss this. So I bought, but I had like seller's remorse, and so I just bought back in and FOMO'd back in. But it was just a little bit higher than what I exited for. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna be a bozo and buy this back, and I am so glad I did. Turned off the brain, just went full send. Anyways, guys, I have to wrap this up here relatively soon. The last point I want to make, we're not even going to get into Alpha Corner right now. Maybe you guys want to drop a play after we get to this point. Claynosaurus released their game with Octo, right? Octo 8. And so this is so good that we have JS up here, because JS has a very high score. JS, how does it feel to be so good at the Clayno game?
Oh, thank you. Actually, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I've been playing a little bit here and there during the space right now. I've hit a new high score of 8,886.
What?
Shut up.
What?
And
dude.
listen, all I know is that
Yes.
I'm getting rugged.
Yes.
Apparently, that this tournament starts on Monday, but everyone is going down.
Right.
Okay, like
Right.
there is
Bro, do
no
you use a
shot.
controller? I don't care if you do, because that's still impressive. I just need to
use
know
my
one
finger,
thing.
dude. I got that Zoomer brain
on.
right now. Okay, I'm wired in. Caffeine's
on.
pumping. We're just
Here's
going.
two. Do you use one or two fingers?
How am I going to leak
Here's
the
the
alpha?
alpha.
How am I going to leak the alpha?
Oh, come on.
All right, I
man.
use my right thumb, and that's it.
All right. Okay.
All right.
I see this. I've been experimenting, bro. But 8K is you are. I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's literally.
There's a
Like, I
tournament
just-
for this?
So yeah, so on Easy Space yesterday, they had mentioned that top players are going to get some rewards, and knowing Clayno, these guys give out some nice ass rewards. So I'm like, okay. I as soon as I heard that, I said, okay, I'll take this game a bit more seriously. I'm on calls all day. I can multitask a little bit here and there. So let me play. And I think I'm excited for when the tournament, I guess, officially starts. I didn't know that until this morning. I was just like playing just to
You
play.
got really good
It's like
practice. then.
the tournament is up.
Yeah, so
That's
so
what-
I guess this score
okay.
doesn't even count.
Damn.
No, it
I'm-
doesn't. all we're doing is building like the shrimp or crab. I don't know if that'll have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
You know, like as you
But
grow,
listen.
gain.
If it's like, okay, let's say top player gets like an extra Clano pack or something. Listen, I'm down for that. Right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can totally see something like that happening. And yeah, try and beat me.
Good luck. I'm struggling to get anything over 2K, dude. I am like, I got boomer
I'm
brain.
stuck at 3,900. I can't break the 4K. I cannot break it.
Anyways, my point with this, I'm so glad we had this talk, because this just goes to show this is Temple Run, right? I mean, like let's call a spade a spade. It is Temple Run, but it's Clano branded, and it's just fun. My point is this, and this is our belief with Heist and Remnants and everything like that, is that simple games are honestly some of the best games right now. You know, it's just like finding out those iterations. We're going to go through our Atari and SNES phase, or whatever you want to call it. Dreamcast, if you guys played Dreamcast, we're going to go through those phases where we just kind of start iterating on top of that, and we find out what works in Web3. And our belief is that, dude, I'm so glad this Kano game came out, because it's been fun. I'll just pick it up, you know, kind of in between calls or anything like that. Or,
and it's fun.
You just swipe. And sometimes the most simple games are the most addictive. And
Angry Birds was top selling, dog. Why is that? Simple. You pull back, birds fly, boom, there.
Yeah. So I love to see it. Clano's so much fun. It is also very interesting because it's not token gated too, but I think in order to redeem the points, you need Octo, right? Do you need an Octo NFT?
Oh, do you? I don't even know. I've just been playing.
I think I heard that through the grapevine, which honestly, that sounds pretty interesting to me. You're not gating the game, but you are gating the rewards. And I think that's an interesting tactic to go away about it. So
the Octos are at 4 Sol. Is this the collection I'm thinking of?
So yeah,
didn't Joe call these a while ago?
Yeah, and now that the game came out, I actually think this is the time that I might want to buy in some Octos.
Well, yeah. So like with you know what? We'll save it for next show.
Yep, that's fine. But
I guess I gotta go buy one, especially me right now, I guess.
Dude, you're probably already getting front run. You can't drop alpha on RareFUD before you buy, because you're going to get front run.
It doesn't happen, dude. It doesn't. Anyways, I have to run into Cool Time space. If you guys are on Twitter, Cool Time is having a space currently. I am speaking in like 10 minutes. So with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of RareFUD Radio. Thank you, JS, for holding it down yet again.
It was a blast
having you, co-host. Thank you to the supporters. We appreciate you so much. If you guys are looking for the next stream, it is every Tuesday, Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, on my Twitter, as well as episodes are uploaded shortly after we air this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And then, of course, you can always watch the restream on YouTube. That about does it for us today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We had an absolute blast. I probably could have talked for another hour and a half.
Yeah, dog, easy.
Yeah.